सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। अतः न निर्देष्टुं शक्यते इदं तदिति गोरसौ and स्पन्दते शुक्लः विषाणि इति यथा लोके निर्दिश्यते तथा अध्यारोपित नामरूप कर्मद्वारेण ब्रह्म निर्दिश्यते. So this we have seen. So jati, guna, kriya, all this based upon this. Itam tat means describing a thing with the help of this is of this form, this is of this name, this is of this jati, this is of this guna, this is of this kriya. That is how the language we use. We describe objects only in terms of its objects, in terms of the qualities. Nama, rupa, guna, kriya, bheda, sambandha, esari. In that manner, when we have to describe the self, we can describe it only from the point of view of the nama rupa. Ek sambandha ko leke, keeping in view the sambandha. So the sambandha also has to be bracketed with nama rupa. Name and form includes everything. So you have to understand it comprehensively, not piecemeal. Name and form implies everything that is describable. Name and form includes that's an expression. Naam roop ka matlab wahi hai. Name and form is symbolic. It symbolizes, it is an upalakshanam for everything that is describable. Nama rupa. Every time we can't say, name, form, guna, kriya. It's too boring. Therefore you say, name and form. Just name and form. So what is name and form? Name, form includes all those things. Okay? So when we describe Atma, keeping in view the name and form, then that kind of description has to be bracketed with name and form. That's not the Swarupa Nirdesha. That is a relative description in relation to something what is the self. So when we talk about the self in relation to something, that is called Adhyaropa Drishti. That's called Adhyaropa Drishti. In relation to something. That is called apekshika. You see, nirdesha. Apekshika nirdesha means relative description. In relation to something, you are talking something. But in relation to something, what is something, that relation, that description of a thing in relation to something is totally different from the Swarupa. The contrast is infinite. You see? The contrast is total. It's like, you see, when you may say that I am a wife in relation to the husband, minus that wife-husband relation, you are just a person, like any other person, gone. You see, that individuality, that particular thing is minus that relation. You are something else, just a person. So in that manner, similarly here also, Atma in relation to, that relation means, Atma in relation to something is described. So describing Atma in relation to something, that relation can be a form, a name and form. A relation can be an object. A relation can be the body. A relation can be the states. A relation can be Karana relation. In relation to something, what is self? When you talk about what the self is, in relation to something, that whole thing is called Adhyaropa Nirdesha. Adhyaropa Drishtya Nirdesha. It's a relative description. That relative description is what we call really Adhyaropa. Now, relative description cannot be Swarupa Nirdesha. Describing the self in relation to something cannot be the description of its nature. When it comes to the nature, it's like, when you say I am a wife, that's not your nature. That's not one's nature. To be a wife is not one's nature. To be a husband is not one's nature. It's not one's nature. One's nature is just one is a conscious being. That's all. One is a conscious being struggling for peace first. And in relation to that struggle, you are a struggler. Minus that struggler, you are not also a struggler. Like in relation to walking, you are a walker. Minus the relation, walking. Therefore, that entire relationship, self's relationship to a form, comes under form. Form is the form. Self's description in relation to the form also comes under form. It's a form. It is Nama-Rupa. Therefore, when we describe Atma in relation to various things, and that description has again a corrective purpose. You see, it has a corrective purpose. Like when I said, you are the seer of the body, corrects the idea that I am the body. You are the seer of the body. Seer of the body. Seer of the body corrects the idea that I am the body. How does it correct, Swamiji? Why can't it correct, Swamiji? Tell me. Why can't it correct? You are showing and saying, hey, you are the seer of the body. You are not the body. You are the seer of. So that you are the seer of the body is also within experience. So that you are the seer of the body is only the description of the seer in relation to the body. Therefore, this description related to the body, seer of the body, that whole rich description has to be bracketed with Nama-Rupa. It comes under Nama-Rupa. It comes under Nama-Rupa means that's not the Swarupa. So similarly, you are the witness of all the three states is also a relative description. In relation to the three states, the Atma is the Sakshi. Now, this description of Atma as the Sakshi of the three states is also corrective. It corrects the idea that my existence is rooted in a state. How can it not correct? How can it not correct? How can it not correct? Like Arundhati Nyaya, you see. Like Arundhati Nyaya. This is Arundhati. On a marriage day, they always say, they have to do Arundhati. Arundhati is Vasishta's wife. Vasishta and wife, lived always very amicably. They are supposed to be the most ideal couple. And they were there always. With Rama is an advisor. So, after the marriage, the boy and the girl are taken out and then show them the Arundhati, Nakshatra. There is a Vasishta and there is Arundhati. So that if you have Arundhati darshan, then you will not fight for life. You will always be amicable. And it's such a tiny, glimmer. It's such a tiny star. So first you take the help of the nearby star. You look at that star. You think that is Arundhati. Then next to it there is another star. You see. You think that is Arundhati. No. Next to that you see. You go on guiding from star to star until you see the Arundhati. That is Arundhati. You see. This is what is called Arundhati Nyaya. Here Nyaya does not mean inference, the Nayayika logic. Nyaya means method. Methodology is called like Adhyaropa Apavada Nyaya. So Nyaya here does not mean some inference. Nyaya means Prakriya, the method. Like Arundhati Nyaya or Shakha Chandra Nyaya. So there is a Chandra and that happens to be Dvitiya Chandra. Dvitiya Chandra means, you don't know Dvitiya Chandra? Means immediately after Pratipadika you have a small line on the sky. Yes, thin line. That is called on Dvitiya. Immediately after Amavasya, the next day is Pratipadika. And the second day is Dvitiya. On Dvitiya you have Vichana. Line. Just a thin line for them. So you want to show somebody then you take the help of a tree. Then you look at the branch and look at that secondary branch and look at that secondary branch. And then through that branch you look up. See, that is look into the sky. You see, that's called Shaka Chandra Nyaya methodology. It's not. At least here, that's kind of, certain points have to be taken, not the whole of it as it is, will create problems. So, that you are the seer of the body corrects the idea that I am the body, that you are the seer of the three states, corrects the idea that your existence is rooted in the state. Is it not liberation? If a man thinks seriously, if a man, even that idea that my existence is not rooted in the Srishti, does it not mean that is not touch? I mean, anything happens, you feel so touched, Somebody cries, you start crying. Somebody laughs, you laugh. You get emotionally touched. Somebody says something, for the whole day you are touched. I mean, you are such a touched person. And here is a statement which says that your existence is not rooted in this world. How can it not touch? See? Therefore, some people are touched emotionally in this world. Some people are touched in terms of the realities. See, a person who is emotionally touched, sensitive, need not be Adhikari for Vedanta. You see? Therefore, it should trigger thinking, my existence is not within the four walls of this creation. Your existence. So, that you are the Sakshi corrects the idea. Therefore, that you are Sakshi is only a relative description. Relative means what? In relation to the three states, you are Sakshi. Therefore, this Sakshitvam, that particular description, that it is Sakshi, has to be bracketed with Nama Rupa, Nama Rupa, Nama Rupa. Sakshitvam also is Nama Rupa. In this manner, here, just really, Tat, Idam Tat, Idam Tat. This is this, this is this. This description is called a positive description, Adhyartha Drishti. Clear? Idam Tanna, Idam Tanna, Idam Tanna is called Apavada. Idam Tat, Idam Tat, Idam Tat, Idam Tat is called Adhyaropita Drishti. Idam Tanna. This is not. You are not the form. You are not. You have no color. You have no taste. You have no smell. You have no form. You have no height. You have no weight. You have no this. And you are not related to anything also. Therefore, when you negate the relationship, you are also negating Namarupa only. Because relation also comes under Namarupa. That is why I told you, Namarupa includes Sambandha also, everything. Namarupa does not mean name and form. Name and form means everything. Name, form, Nama, Rupa, Jati, Guna, Veda, Kriya, Sambandha, every stuff comes under Nama Rupa. All relationships come under Nama Rupa. Therefore, freedom from relationship with a thing in Vedanta does not mean distant from a thing. Understand? Because distance also is a relation. You are not following. Even relationship, freedom from a relationship with a thing means what? Does not mean distance from a thing, because even distance is a relation. We are related to the moon. As individuals, we are related to the moon. Moon is distant, but I am related. In fact, we are related to every bit of creation. We are related to the moon, we are related to the sun, we are related to every bit of the creation we are related to. It's distant, but we are related to. In fact, you are related to your enemy also. It's a relation. He is my enemy. It's a relation. What is it? Therefore, freedom from relation implies Advitiyam. Freedom from relation means what? Non-duality. Therefore, when you negate the Sambandha, it is what? Advitiyam. Negation of relationship does not mean a distance from a thing. Freedom from a relation with a thing does not, it is correcting it. Relation is there, whether the thing to which you are related, whether it is near or distant. Relation is unqualified by the near and distance, nearness and distance. Relation is relation. So, Sakshi, Saksha Bhava, the witnessed relation is also negated. But when we say the witness, it is a relative description. It is a source. What is it? Relative description. In relation to the creation, it is the source. Now that source creation relationship also is a Nama Rupa. And that is also negative. Therefore, when we talk about the self, either we give a relative description of it, or we give its natural description. The description of its nature is always in the form of Idam Tanna. Idam Tanna. All the relative descriptions are negated. I give the relative descriptions. And these relative descriptions do their job of making some corrections. And these relative descriptions given by the Shastra themselves are negated. If they are not negated, all the relative descriptions of the self comes under Nama Rupa, there will be no There is no difference. Adhyasa is not correct. Relative description also has to go, because if I stand related, it is samsara. Whether I stand related as a witness, whether I stand related as a witness to anything, or I stand related to the source of anything, it doesn't matter. It's a problem. Therefore, within avidya, I look at myself, really, I experience myself as the form, as the seer of the world, seer of the form, or the seer of the states, and the source of the creation. All these things are experienced, and man's attention is guided from his external most grossest, so to speak, from his one experience to another experience until the Swarupa is in. And when it comes to Swarupa Nirdesha, it is not another relative description, understand. Swarupa Nirdesha is not another relative. All other descriptions are relative. When you say Drashta, Sakshi, Karanam, Samanya, all these words are relative descriptions. But when you say na, idam tan, it is free from form, free from name, it is free from sambandha, it is free from jati, it is free from guna, it is free from kriya, it is free from sambandha, then it is not a relative description. You can't say it is a relative description. It is free from form. Is it a relative description? It's formless. It's formless. That means what? The form that you see in yourself doesn't belong to you. Formless. It's not a relative description. Seer of the form, relative description. You are the seer of the form is a relative description. You are free from the form. You are free from even seers in relation. That is what? Is it a relative description? You are free from sambandha. You are free from karikana bhava. You are free from dridrishya bhava. You are free from sakshi bhava. You are free from samanya visesha bhava. You are free from jiva jagat bhava. You are free from ishvara jagat bhava. You are free from all relationship. That freedom from relation is what? Neti. Swarupa Nirdesha cannot be done by way of describing Atma in relation to something. All the descriptions given of the Atma in relation to something also has to be negated. And that is Swarupa Nirdesha. In order to do Swarupa Nirdesha is the Adhyaropa. All descriptions. Okay. Now, try to do little, you can move a little. Adaha na nirdeshtum shakyate yadam taditi gaurasav spandate shuklo vishani iti yatha loke nirdeshyate tatha adhyaropita nama rupa karma dvarena. Only by means of the adhyaropita nama rupa karma dvarena, only by means of name, form and karma, which is adhyaropitam, Brahman nirdeshyate. Brahman is described. Brahman is pointed out. Here described means pointing out. There is no just an impersonal description. You look at yourself like this. See, this is what you are. See, this is not you. You are not the body, you are the seer of the body. You are the sakshi of the stage. You are the source of it. You are pointing, you are turning man's attention to himself. This is not some kind of, firing a lecture. Vedanta Upadesha is not like that. The student is told, hey, look at your experience. So the more you talk about his experiences, he will look at his experience. Otherwise, he will not look at his experience. He will always make the truths of paroksham. He will always speculate it. Therefore, here, Namarupa Karma Dvarena, Adhyaropita Namarupa Karma Dvarena, well, Brahma Nirdishyate. How does it? What is that relative description? Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. It is Vijnanam. It is awareness. So it is awareness also is in relation to the jadam. It is vijnanam, it is awareness, you are awareness. This description, you are vijnanam, is meant to correct the adhyasa that I am jadam. You are conscious being is meant to correct the first idea that you are the jadam. Anything that is jadam, you are not. So in relation to the jadam, the Atma is described as vijnanam. It's a positive, it's a relative description. Vijnanam is not Swarupa Nirdesha. Even though Swarupa is Vijnanam, but the description of the truth as Vijnanam, that word Vijnanam, being used for Atma is only in relation to the Jada. Similarly, Vijnanam, Anandam, even the word Anandam, taking it as Anandam is a relative description. Anandam in relation to Dukkham. It is free from dukkha. In relation to dukkha, it is anandam. In relation to dukkha. If you say it is free from dukkha, supposing if change the language, instead of saying anandam, you are free from dukkham and sukham. Meaning, indriya sukham and indriya dukkham. And that is apavad. Anandam, Brahma, and it is infinite, unlimited. That Brahma means Brihat. We have, even though in English we translate Brahman as unlimited, a corrective word we use. The Brahma Shabda does not literally mean unlimited. Brahma Shabda means big. The word Brahma, the big, is not a corrective word. The big is a relative word. But we translate the word Brahman as unlimited. That is a corrective. That is Swarupa Nirdesha. I hope they are able to follow. Not able to follow. Thoda Rishikesh ghum ke aana. Dimag kaam kare. Because Vedanta is something where you have to sit down and think. Therefore here, Brahma, the literal meaning of the word Brahma, you have to hear what I am saying. The literal, everybody. A lot of people who come to the class don't think. But you all must think, otherwise why waste time? All of you, everybody can understand. There is nothing great about it. The word Brahman does not literally mean unlimited. The word Brahman literally means only the big. Brihat tamatvat Brahma. Bredhatu. Brehvriddhau. Bredhatu has the sense of vriddhi, means the big. So taking the literal meaning of the term Brahma as the big, it becomes a relative description. Therefore, Vijnanam is a relative description. Anandam, relative description. Supposing the word Anandam is interpreted as Anantam, then it becomes correct. Anantam. Not limited. But the word Anandam, it is relative. It is Namarupa, Paksha. Brahma also as the big. Okay. Vijnana Ghanayeva. Vijnana Ghanayeva. It is solely awareness. This is also It is only Namarupaksha, it is awareness, solely awareness again is in relation to something. Similarly, the word Brahma, different Shastras, different Shruti Vakyas are quoted here. Brahma, the big. What is Brahma? The big. The big is again a relative description. It is Adhyaropita Drishtya Nirdeshaha. You have to pick up that entire phrase. What is this Nirdesha? Adhyaropita Drishtya Nirdeshaha. Atma, subject, Pratyega. The subject again is in relation to the object. Ityevamadi shabdaihi, by the words like this. By these words, the truth is described. The truth is described in relation to something. And these words also make a correction. We are all meant to correct. The word Vijnanam corrects the idea that I am Jadam. You are not Jadam, you are Vijnanam. You are Anandam. You are not Dukkham, you are Anandam. And you are Brahman, the big. You are not a limited form. You are the big. So that particular word has to be, if you go on interpreting the big means unlimited, unlimited means free from all limitation, then it becomes what? Then it becomes again Abhuvasa, correct? In this manner, Atma, you are the subject, not the object. In this manner, these positive words, Idam Tat, Idam Tat, Idam Tat, you are Atma, you are Brahma, you are awareness, you are Anandam. These positive words, the blind mark is, there are positive words, there is no nanj associated with it. There is no nanj associated. They will follow. These are all what? These are all called Adhyaropita Drishti. The description in this manner, description of Brahman in these words is not, it's not Swarupa Nirdeshaha. It is a preparation for, it is a part of the method of, it is a part of the entire methodology of doing Swarupa Nirdesha. It is a method of the entire teaching. It is a part of the teaching. It is not the conclusion of the teaching. You are Atma, you are the subject. That's not a conclusion. That is not where the teaching concludes. You are a conscious being. Teaching doesn't conclude there. Though this is a part of teaching. You are Anandam, etc. All these positive words form a part of teaching, doesn't become a conclusion. Thus, whatever description we give of the self in relation to something, keeping in view something, the Nama Rupa, then it is called really the Adhyaropa Drishtya. So just as we describe the cow, or this is a cow, and this moves, and this grazes, or this has horns, this is white, in this manner, how we describe. In that manner, Atma also is described, only from the point of view of the Namarupa. Clear? Yada punaham swarupameva nirdidikshitam bhavati nirasta sarvopadi vishesham tada na shakyate kenachidapi prakarena nirdeshtum. Yada punaha, when swarupameva nirdidikshitam, when the swarupam has to be conveyed, what is one's nature? What is my nature? You see, what is one's nature is not again really negatable. Because I am Deha is negatable. I am the seer of the form also is negatable. I am the seer of the three states also is negatable. I am the source of the creation also is negatable. And Swarupam cannot have negation. That kind of unnegatable Swarupa, the unnegatable, if it is a stand, it is negatable. If it is a nature, it is not negatable. And therefore nature is not another stand. It is not another stand. We take stands to convey Swarupam. But Swarupam itself is not another stand. So, yada punaha swarupameva nirdidikshitam, when the swarupam, when the nature alone is desired, is intended to be pointed out, nirdeshtum ishtam, निर्देश करने के लिए इष्ट है, तन प्रत्यय निर्देशतुम इष्टम, तुमुन प्रत्यय है, निर्देशतुम इष्टम, निर्देश करने के लिए इष्ट है, भवति, when Swarupam alone has to be pointed out, what is that Swarupa? Nirasta sarvopadi visesham, free from all relationships, free from all names and forms, free from all categories, free from all. It doesn't have a name, doesn't have a form, it doesn't belong to any category, and it doesn't have any relationship also. Because there is no other. If there is something else other than the truth, if there is something other than the truth, then it stands related to the other. But it is free from the other. There is no other than the truth. Then there is no relation also. That is called nirasta sarva upadi visesham. That which is free from all the upadis. That which is Swarupam. So when it comes to pointing out the Swarupam which is free from all the upadis, nirasta sarvopadi visesham, that nirasta is nishta. Understand? Asdhatu nirasta, 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 sarva upadi visesham, that which is free from all the upadis. And all the upadis means, understand that upadi means jati, nama, rupa, jati, guna, kriya, samandha. Aur kuch nahi upadi. Don't think upadi means a thing. Upadi means only jati, all, anything that is describable is upadi. Describability is upadi, indescribability is the Swarupam. The indescribable is the Swarupam. And any notion about it becomes the describable. As the describable, it becomes the upadi. Therefore, upadi is not a thing. Describability, that very describable, it may be a thought, it may be a thing, it doesn't matter. Everything comes under jati, guna, kriya, sambandha. Thus, nirasta sarva upadi visesham swarupam yada punaha nirdidikshitam bhavati, when the swarupam is intended to be conveyed, tada, then na shakyate, it's not possible. Kenachidapi prakarena nirdeshtu, it's not possible to convey the swarupam by any prakriya. It is not possible to convey the Swarupam by any word. No descriptive word can convey. Either you can say it is the seer of the world. That it is the seer of the world is not its Swarupam, because there is no word. That it is the seer of the world is not the Swarupam. That it is the seer of the body is not the Swarupam. That it is the seer of the mind is not its Swarupam. That it is the source of the universe is not its Swarupam. You say any positive word, that is not its Swarupam. And that is understandable within one's Anubhava. Understand? Because when you stand related to something, it is not Swarup. Because our experience tells the deep sleep state testifies to the fact that there one is free from Nama, Rupa, Guna, Kriya, Sambandha. That is Swarupa Anubhava. It is not Sakshya Anubhava. Sakshya Bhava is Kalpitam in Jagra. I interpret Sushupti as the Sakshi of the three states. And again, in relation to the Jagrat, then the same Nirvisesham becomes the source. In relation to the universe, it is the source. But by itself, it is one without a second. Like, the rope is one without a second from its own point of view, but from the point of view of the snake that I have seen, it is a source. Therefore, at once it is the source as well as Nirvisesham. There is no contradiction. Rope is at once the source of the snake and Nirvisesham. Similarly, the Atma is by Anubhava, it is experienced by everybody that it is Nirvisesham. And from the Namarupa Drishtya, Karanam Ityad. Therefore, when it comes to pointing out the Swarupam, there is no way of pointing it out with the help of Namarupa. You can't point out the Swarupa with the help of Namarupa. With the help of Namarupa, with the help of Jat, with the help of Guna, with the help of Kriya, with the help of Sambandha, you can't really talk about the Swarupa by means of Namarupa. Namarupa includes all. All means Guna, Kriya, Bheda, Sambandha, all these things are included within that Namarupa. That's why we have an excellent phrase in the Shastra, Namarupa ki dunya. Namarupa means nothing. Namarupa. Even Karyakarana Bhava comes under Namarupa. Therefore, Tada na shakyate kena jada viprakaran, it's not possible. Then why are you teaching? The Swarupa cannot be pointed out. As it cannot be pointed out within brackets by means of the words having the connotations of name and form. Can't be conveyed by means of Namarupa. Namarupa Pakshaleke you can't convey. Tadam Ayamevam Abhyupayaham Yadutam Prapta Nirdesha Pratishethadvarena Nedinetiti Nirdesha Tada, then Ayameva Abhyupaya. And there, this alone is the upaya. This alone is the way. The following is the only way. This is the only way. Ayameva abhyupaya. Yahi ek upaya hai to convey abhyupaya. Yaduta, that. That yaduta means a conjunction. That. In your Hindi, ki. There is a ki. Ki rasvam, not ki dirgham. In your Hindi, in our Hindi, not your Hindi. That is our Hindi. Because Hindi also, Hindi is one language which I like the best. Ki. Ki what? Rasvam. मैं आपसे कहा था कि, what is that ki? It is a conjunction. In English you have conjunctions, that. I told you that. In Sanskrit, yaduta. Or yat. Doesn't matter. Tada ayameva abhyupayaha. This alone is the upaya, yaduta, that. Prapta nirdesha pratisheta dvarena. By way of negating all the stands taken. Prapta nirdesha is what? Shastra has already given the nirdesha. Shastra has given the nirdesha of the drashta, of the sakshi, of the karanam, so many. Of the creator, nimitta karanam, upadana karanam, etc. Karyakarana bhava of various kinds. All these various prapta nirdeshas, pratisheta dvarena, by way of negating those relative description. By negating relative description, you are pointing out the absolute. The absolute is pointed out only by negating all the relative descriptions. Now, are you able to follow this? A lot of it in it. There is a lot packed in this Pratishedhatva. Now, why really take stands and then negate them? Without taking stands, why can't we? That's not possible, because straight man takes that I am the body. Now, when he says I am the body, and if you say you are not the body, on what basis? On what basis I am not the body? You have to show me the basis why I am not the body. Then the Shruti says you are the drashta of the body. So I can't skip that. You are a pramata, you are the drashta. You are the seer of the body through the senses. Let us say, to begin with. You are the seer of the body through the senses, it doesn't matter. But you are the seer. The seer of the body is other than the body, because the seer of the pot is other than the pot. So, ghatat drashta, ghatat vinnaha. This is where, we begin. The seer of the pot is other than the pot. The same manner, the seer of the body is other than the body. But one thing, I am rooted within the avastha. This avastha, antargatatvam is a big bhranti. That my existence is inside the world, inside the state. Inside the state means inside this world. I am in this world. Is a very big bhranti. That our existence is rooted in this creation, within space, within time, within form. I may be other than the body, but I am, just as the body is within the state, I am also within the state. That is, you are not the seer of the body, you are not in the state. Your existence is not in the creation. Your existence is not inside the state. On what basis? You have to show him his own experience of being the witness. You don't create any experience. You have to point out his own experience of being the witness of the three states, which he never looks at. Therefore, as the witness of the three states, his existence is not rooted in any state. Neither his existence is rooted in the presence of the world, in the form, nor is the existence rooted in the absence of the form. If his existence is rooted in the absence of the form, then in the presence of the form he should not have existence. You see? If his existence is conditional to the absence of the form, then with the presence of the form he should have no existence. And if his existence were rooted in the form, then he should not have existence when there is no form. But he is able to say, it is I experience the form and I experience the dream form, and when I fall asleep, I also experience freedom from all the form. Therefore, as the witness of the bhava and the abhava of the form, that witnessing being, his existence is not rooted either in the presence of the form and absence of the form. In this manner, you have to slowly convey to him, this is what is called helping him correct his bhranti, that he is a form, that he is inside the state, that he is the seer of this state, and then bring in karyakarana bhava also, that is, hey, you are basically in sushupti, you are not even sakshi of something, only in relation to the world you are sakshi, otherwise you are advitiyam, and that advitiyam is followed by, if that advitiyam is followed by the jagrat, so that jagrat begins right in that advitiyam, and therefore there is Karya-karana bhava. Therefore, karya-karana bhava is also experience within avidya, of course. Karya-karana bhava is a man's experience. The anubhava, that Jagrat follows Sushupti. Jagrat follows Sushupti. Jagrat follows Sushupti, quote unquote, means that I am within the experience, I am experiencing the Karya-karana bhava between Atma and Jagat. Understand? Advitiyam is being followed by Dvaitam. If Advitiyam is followed by Dvaitam, it's like water is followed by wave. So if water is followed by wave, then there is anubhava of the water being the karanam for the wave. In that manner, our own being, as the karanam of Jagrat is within anubhava but not understood. There is a big difference. It is my experience that Jagrat follows Sushupti. Who doesn't have this experience? Jagrat follows Sushupti. Swapna follows Sushupti. Sushupti doesn't follow Jagrat. Jagrat follows Sushupti and again goes back to Sushupti. That is where you have to cut. Sushupti doesn't follow Jagrat. Because Sushupti is not absence of form. Sushupti is presence of oneself without a form. There you have to get the definition right. That is why yada swapiti tada sata sampanno bhavati. Sushupti is properly defined by the Shruti. The Shruti defines the Sushupti not as a mere absence of the form, but as the presence of the self. Therefore, like water doesn't follow wave, wave rises in water and resolves in water. Similarly, the name and form, the waking state appears in Sushupti and resolves in Sushupti. Dream appears in Sushupti, resolves in Sushupti. And Sushupti is not a abhava of the form. If you interpret the Sushupti as the absence of the form, then it is all right. Bhava follows abhava, abhava follows bhava. It becomes a chakram. And if you create a chakram among the three states, you are deadlocked. If you create a chakram among the three states, you get deadlocked. Are you able to follow? Then what do you do? Then what are you conveying? Jagrat follows, Swapna follows, Sushupti follows Jagrat. That means each is being followed by the other. There are three individual alternating. Then all right, then what does it convey? How do I break that chakra? How do I break that chakra? Then again you have to say, Sushupti, which is looked upon as absence of form, is not in fact absence of form, is in fact the presence of the being, and therefore the Sushupti doesn't form a part of chakra. Sushupti as the being doesn't form a part of chakram. Therefore, Jagrat follows Sushupti and falls in Sushupti. Swapna rises in Sushupti and resolves in Sushupti. Therefore, this phenomenon, this anubhava, is nothing but the anubhava of karya-karana bhava. Though it is Mayika Karya-karana bhava. That's a different matter. I am seeing the Dvaitam following Advaitam and Dvaitam resolving in Advaitam, and this is Anubhava. Therefore, Karya-karana bhava, Mayika Karya-karana bhava within avidya. All that I am Deha is also a kind of it is avidyaka perception. That I am the seer of the body is also avidyaka perception. That I am the seer of the three states is also avidyaka perception. And the Karyakarana Bhava also is avidyaka perception. I have to be moved from perception to perception. And therefore, that you are Advaitam, and that is indeed, that is where the Dvaitam begins and Dvaitam resolves. And therefore, that is a Karyakarana Bhava. Now that Karyakarana Bhava is again from Karya Drishti, but not from Karana Drishti. Why? Because going by the Anubhava of the Sushupti, when the waking rises, I call it Karanam. Minus the waking, it is free from Karyakarana Bhava. That means by Swarupa it is free from Karyakarana Bhava. Therefore it is the free from Karyakarana Bhava that looks Karanam. It is the Karyakarana free. The Karyakaranatva free being due to avidya looks Karanam. The rope that is free from Karyakarana Bhava, it is free from Karyakarana Bhava between itself and the Sarpa. That Karyakarana Bhava free Rajju, that is described as Karanam for Sarpa. Swarupa is what? Free from Karyakarana Bhava. In that manner, the only way to convey the Swarupam idea is Ayameva Abhyupayaha Yadutha Prapta Nirdesha Pratisheda Dvarena, by means of really negating the Prapta Nirdesha. Like what? Naiti iti Nirdeshaha. Therefore the only way of conveying the Swarupa is Naiti means what? Saying that you are free from this relation, any relation. Okay, that is the Swarupa anyway. You don't bring about Swarupa through negation. You don't bring about Swarupa through that. That is what he is. And the entire what we call the relationships are kalpita, are Bhranti. Relationships are Bhranti. Freedom from all relationships is the Swarupa ununderstood. Experienced but not understood. Iti nirdeshaha iti. And therefore, now in order to do the neti iti nirdeshaha, in order to do the apavada, you have to have adhyaro. Therefore, adhyaropa apavad. There is no adhyaropa apavadanya. Adhyaropa apavadabhyam nishprapancham prapanchate. Truth is conveyed by means of adhyaropa and apavada. In other words, to put it absolutely in a layman's language, truth is conveyed from the point of view of the form and from its own point. The truth is conveyed relatively and absolutely. Truth is conveyed in relation. It has been given relative definitions, and it is also given the absolute definition. Whenever you say truth is the karanam, it is a relative definition. It's a relative definition. That relative definition is a relative unfoldment. And when it comes to the definition of its nature, you can't define truth in relative terms. You have to define it. You have to define it only, not in relative terms. Now, that doesn't mean you have to define it in absolute terms. Hey, there are no absolute terms. The way of defining the truth is negating the relative description. Negating the relative descriptions is what is called defining the absolute. You don't define it in absolute terms. Absolute terms means only neti. That is called absolute terms. Neti, it doesn't change. Then how do you really negate it? It is changeless. Supposing you say truth is changeless. That means you are negating the change from it. It is formless. It is free from jati, free from guna, free from kriya, let anybody question the definition. Because any relative description is changeable, because when the relative point of view changes, it says the seer of the scene, I say in relation to the scene it is the seer. Otherwise, minus the scene is not the seer. That means the definition of the truth goes through change. In relation to the scene it is the seer, minus the scene it is not the seer. That means the definition that it is the seer of the scene can't stand. You can't sustain it. You can't sustain it. And therefore, only neti neti, that is negation of all relationships, negation of all nama rupa, negation of nama rupa is the only means of conveying the swarupa, which is in everybody's anubhava. Because freedom from name and form cannot be a matter of speculation, meaningless. You can't speculate freedom from name and form. You can't imagine, the formless. Swamiji, how to think of, form. Previously I told you better think of the form and worship God. No, I love to worship God without form. And then alright, you worship God without form. Then after 2 days he comes and says, Swamiji, it is very difficult to think of God without form. Please tell me some method how to think of God without form. I told you don't think of God without form. You better think of Him with form. You didn't listen to me, and now you get into trouble. How can you think of the formless? Formlessness is not an object of thought. What idiotic human beings say we worship the formless. How do you worship the formless? Say formless is you. The formless is a matter for understanding. Say we want to worship the formless. Not only you say you want to worship the formless, and those who are sensibly worshipping God by means of the form, you attack them also. You attack the forms, you destroy the forms. Such beautiful, sacred, beautiful form. It's a very sane. When it comes to worshipping God, it has to be from adhyaropa drishti. When it comes to really the swarupa, that is apavada, that is understanding. All karma, upasana, everything, including the Veda, half of Vedanta, adhyaropa, the drishti, it all has to take Namarupa Paksha. Your whole life is Namarupa Paksha. Why are you so averse to Namarupa? When it comes to religion, they don't like form. They have to, day in and day out, they live with the form. Day in and day out, they live with the form. They live with the form. They live with the name, and they don't want form. Why it becomes so unsacred? Anyway, that is also really ananya with the formless. The form is ananya with the formless. In fact, not only I say Atma is formless, the form is not the form. That is also a vakya. The form is not a form. The form, in fact, is the formless, the source, the truth. The form is not the snake, is not the snake. The snake is the root. Why this kind of stand? Why this kind of hatred? Why this kind of... Therefore, if you want to worship God, you must have a nice form and say, hey Bhagavan, you are there in every form, but I have no means to worship you in every form, therefore I have got limited resources, therefore I would like to worship you only in this form. What is wrong in it? That is sensible. That is why this is sustainable religion. Hinduism is sustainable. Because it is all comprehensive, it can be sustained. You let anything happen, it will be there. It will be there. Because it's not a stand against. It's not a stand against. It is a stand true to the nature of the truth. The whole approach is true to the nature of the truth. And therefore, it can be sustained. Any other stand which is exclusive creates problems, hatred, and then create enemies, and then... Anyway, that is a different topic. Neti neti iti nirdesha. Then Bhagavan is going to bring in other passages. Because he is going to bring in a few passages from various bhashyas, from the Sudra Bhashyam, Gita Bhashyam, and Upanishad Bhashyam, just to show what is the method of Vedanta. The method of Vedanta is this: drawing man's attention to himself from the form, right from the form to the Swarupa. You guide his life, you guide man's attention from Arundhati Nyaya, from star to star to star to star until you reach the Arundhati. In that manner, or you guide man's attention from the tree to the branch, to the secondary branch, to the sky and the moon. In that manner, man's attention is guided from his form to his Advitiyatvam. You begin with the form and slowly teach him. Vedanta teaches man, guides his attention to appreciate his Swarup, which is Advitiyam. Therefore, therefore the whole thing is Swata Siddham. It is all pointing out what is Swata Siddham. There is no speculation. Nama Rupa, freedom from name and form cannot be speculated. Cannot be speculated. There is no speculation there. Okay, sweetly. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. If somebody asks you how to worship the formless, how to concentrate on the formless, then your answer should be, who told you to worship God as a formless? Then he said, so and so told. You go and ask him then. Go and ask him. Did I tell you to worship God formless? I didn't tell you. I told you to worship God in a given form. And while worshipping God through a given form, if you have problems, I'll ask them. Somebody creates a problem and I have to solve. Why? If I create a problem, then I'll solve them. Somebody, you go somewhere and then he says something and then you create, then you get into trouble and say, then what? Why should I solve? भगवान को स्मरण करने के लिए रूप की जरूरत होती है. All forms are his forms. Any form is fine. You should love forms when it comes to worshipping. Because if you love creation, because whole creation is Svarupam. This is not profane, that is spiritual and all that. This is what the entire Jagrat takes place in Advitiyam. Therefore, we are in the context of Advitiyam. The whole Jagrat is rooted in Advitiyam. Why should you think, why should you hate name and form? Why should you hate the world? All vastu. Hari Om Ji. Namah Shivaya. Thank you. सब ठीक है, चल रहा है, सब ठीक है जी. Thank you.